Hello, I'm Kim Romer, Board Chair of MSA NJ, and on behalf of the entire MSA NJ team, I would like to welcome you to today's presentation brought to you by MSA NJ. Inspirations, Living Well with MSA. We're glad you could join us. Today's topic focuses on the power of positive thinking and finding ways to live your best life with MSA. We are pleased to again participate in the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition's annual Patient and Family Conference and share patient inspiration stories. MSA NJ has been working with the coalition since our inception in 2012, and I've enjoyed a strong collaborative relationship with them over the years. Their team is dedicated and knowledgeable. I would like to thank MSA NJ board member Victoria Pena Cardinale and volunteer Julia Landicho for facilitating today's presentation. I would also like to thank the Tinari family for sharing their story and giving us all a glimpse into how they have adjusted to life after the MSA diagnosis and still stay active with their family and hobbies. They are truly an inspirational family. Additionally, many thanks to those in the MSA NJ community for sharing photos, quotes, and thoughts on how to stay positive throughout the many stages of MSA. Finally, thank you to our friends at the MSA Coalition for being such terrific partners. Your tireless efforts are greatly appreciated by all those involved in the multiple system atrophy cause. Thank you again for joining us and supporting MSA NJ. We hope you find this session uplifting and motivating.
Hello, my name is Victoria Pena Cardinale, and I am a clinical social worker with about 11 years of experience in the area of medical social work. And I am also a member of the MSA New Jersey board for about the past 4 years. I am very happy to once again be part of the MSA New Jersey conference titled Inspirations, Living Well with MSA, as it is a topic that I am passionate about and always a part of my conversation with patients and families. Having a positive mindset contributes to increased quality of life, despite the presence of a chronic health condition or a debilitating disease. Research studies on mind and body have shown a strong correlation between how positive thoughts or having a positive mindset has a positive impact on the body's function. Some quick tips that I would like to share with you today to cultivate a positive mindset could be something simple as creating a gratitude journal. A gratitude journal can help set the day for you in a very different way, setting a very positive disposition for the day. Surround yourself with positive people that can contribute to a healthy, positive environment. And being surrounded by a positive, healthy environment can also contribute to more positive thinking. In this way, hopefully you can be more mindful and more aware of negative automatic thoughts that we create day to day. So the tip about that is challenge those negative automatic thoughts. If you notice them, if you see them, then make it a point to challenge them. Is this actually true? Maybe things are not so bad. Let's refocus on the present moment and let's go back to that gratitude. What am I thankful for today? And get out, go outside, have a different view, be in contact with nature. That can certainly bring smiles, and smiles can then lead you to joy. So build those moments for you. And even if you don't feel like doing certain things that you know can contribute to your wellness, just go for it, because you know you will see the benefits of it later on. So I know that we will be seeing more of each other later on. We have prepared a wonderful segment on inspirational stories about living well with MSA, and I know you will enjoy that. So continue to enjoy your conference. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Julia Landicho. I'm a student volunteer and a nursing major. I first started learning about MSA as a part of a research project, and I've continued to volunteer whenever I can to help out the MSA New Jersey community. It's the reason why I love doing this. The overwhelming support that people with MSA have for each other is truly amazing and beautiful to see, and just happy to be here and help wherever I can.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inspirations Living Well with MSA. My name is Victoria Peña Cardinali. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I've been in practice for about 11 years doing primarily medical social work. And I've been a member of the MSA board, New Jersey board, for about 4 years. And it's a pleasure for me to be part of this MSA conference, facilitating a conversation about living well with MSA. I tell you that it's a conversation that I love to have with the patients and families that I'm in contact with every day. And it's wonderful to be able to inspire you through this journey by having conversations with real people. So I thank you for this opportunity, and I'm grateful to be here today with Julia Landicho. Julia will be co-facilitating this segment with me, and Julia is a volunteer with MSA New Jersey. She's been volunteering with us for about 1.5 years. We thank you so much. Your contributions are amazing. And in addition to that, Julia is also a nursing student with a special interest in MSA. So thank you so much, Julia, for being here with us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And then last but not least, our guest speaker, Frank and Barbara, and Mr. and Mrs. Tinari. I've known you for a while now, ever since I joined MSA New Jersey. And when they told me that I was going to be doing this segment with you, I couldn't think of a better couple to be able to do this interview with. You both are amazing people. I've seen some of your journey through our interactions, and you have definitely inspired me. So I have no doubt you are an inspiration to many others. So welcome.
Thank you. Very nice to be here. Yeah.
Thank you. So to get us started, I'd like for you guys to begin to tell us a little bit about yourselves. And I think we can agree that, once we've received a diagnosis of MSA, life is different. Life changes. Life begins to change. So tell us a little bit about yourselves before your MSA diagnosis. Barbara, what did you do? What was your occupation? Frank, same thing for you. If maybe we can start with that.
Before MSA, I was a kindergarten teacher. I had beautiful penmanship, and I was able to talk with the kids. Now, since MSA.
Well, before you go, since how about your family? What did you do at home?
At home, I liked, I loved being at home. I loved cooking. I loved painting. I painted my house and my daughter's houses.
Wow.
Painted. I really enjoyed that. It's very, very concrete. You can see the results. I like gardening also.
Wow.
I would go out in the garden. I said, I would like to start a rose garden. So I started with a couple of rose bushes, and they did well. So then I got more. By the time I finished up, I had a very pretty rose garden. It was a nice smell. And we did ballroom dancing.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I didn't know that about you guys.
One of the first ways that I knew something was wrong, when we would dance, all of a sudden I couldn't do the turns. When I would try to turn, it wouldn't be smooth. It'd be very, very erratic. So I said, something is wrong. I gotta get this checked out.
I see.
I liked it. I did all kinds of ballroom dancing. I did the waltz,
Mhm.
the rumba, the cha-cha, the swing. I did them all. And
That's
I
amazing.
really enjoyed that.
That's amazing, Barbara. What an active life you have had.
Jack of all trades.
Yes. Also, my husband and I, we did a lot of traveling. And I enjoyed traveling and seeing a lot of different places. We went all over Europe. We went to China. We
Oh,
went to
wow.
Mexico. We went
US.
all over the US, Hawaii, Alaska, and we really enjoyed the time we spent traveling.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, regarding traveling, the last few trips, we took our two grandchildren without their parents on the trips with us. So we had the four of us.
Oh,
And one trip we did was through Alaska, and that was very good. And then we wound up in California at the end of that trip.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and the other thing we used to do traveling was once every year or two, we would take the whole family on a big family trip, with either Jamaica or Hawaii or someplace, Costa Rica. And that was a good way of bonding with all together, with the family. So that was
Absolutely. Sounds great. You guys are so active. So what about you, Frank? Are you now retired? Do you still work?
yes and yes. Well, I taught for many years as a professor at Seton Hall University. I'm an economist, and I taught there for 31 years before I retired. But while I was at the university, I published books, I worked in the administration, I did a lot of things, but I had a consulting practice that after I retired from Seton Hall, I went full time with my consulting practice. And I sold that one about 10 years ago. So I retired from that. But before that, I had become mayor of Florham Park of our town. I was mayor. And,
Oh, wow.
and as a result, I helped bring the New York Jets from New York to Florham Park, where their headquarters are now.
Oh my goodness. Are you a Jets fan? Are you guys a
No,
Jets fan?
I'm not a sports fan at all, but hey, they want to come here, so we bring them in.
That's awesome. That is so wonderful, Mr. Mayor. I had no idea.
Yeah. And also, as Barbara and I traveled a lot, we're involved in our church activities a lot. And right now, in my retirement, I'm writing several books on my hobby, which is sheet music. And the first one coming out hopefully next year will be on Native Americans, sheet music that on the covers depict Native Americans. So that's a long time in coming to get that book done.
Wow.
Yeah, but I still continue my ballroom dancing. So, for example, last night I went for a lesson, and my daughter Alexandra stayed with Barbara. Sometimes Barbara comes with me to the studio and cheers me on as I'm doing my steps. So
That
yeah,
is wonderful
yeah.
that you continue to do some of the things that you love to do. That's
Yeah.
great. And that Barbara is there to cheer you on and support you. That's wonderful. So you guys are so active. It's amazing everything that you have done and that you continue to do. And Barbara, you began to tell us a little bit about how, while ballroom dancing, you began to feel that things were not the same. And you began to believe that you needed to get things checked out because your turns were not the way they were before. What an insight you have. So I guess that's where your journey to the diagnosis began. Can you tell us a little bit more about that journey?
Well, the first one I went to the neurologist, I was just diagnosed with ataxia. And then as I went.
Hold on. I think
Yes.
the first neurologist did not know what her condition was. And then we wound up getting referred to Columbia Presbyterian. And that's where finally the first diagnosis was ataxia. Go ahead.
Yeah, the doctor in the Columbia Presbyterian really seemed to know about my condition. Then after I went to him a couple of times, then he said, "You have MSA." It's a broader thing. It was I have disabilities on a lot of different areas, not just balance.
Right.
I'm weak on balance,
Shaking.
with speaking, and weak on I have some shaking
Her
problems.
handshake, right.
So now I used to be able to eat very well. Now I can't eat so good. Got my handshake.
And your eyes.
I have trouble getting the food in my mouth. My eyesight, I have double vision, which is a pain in the neck. But yeah, you learn to live with it. You know, what else would you do, really?
Yeah, Barbara has a
You know,
Barbara has a patch that when she's reading or looking at TV, it goes over one of her eyes and it eliminates the double vision. So because both eyes don't synchronize quite right, you know.
I see. So how long did it take you in terms of getting the MSA diagnosis? How long was it since you first began to realize that something was changing until you finally got diagnosed with MSA?
it took about two or 3 years. Well, from I was when I went initially to the doctor and they'll do my MSA diagnosis.
Right.
I check a lot of things first. I understand some people, as they get older, the crystals in the air start to harden up. That gives them problems with balance. So I checked that out and checked out a lot of different things.
Right.
Before we finally got the MSA. I had all kinds of tests to eliminate all the different diseases. I went down one day after the day at Johns Hopkins University. They have an ataxia clinic, and they took some blood. The doctor said, "Let's look for something that's treatable." We didn't find anything. All my tests came back normal. I had a spinal tap, came back normal. I had a MRI
And other.
and everything came back that I'm okay. But I'm not okay.
You knew it. Yeah, we're an expert on our bodies, you know, and I think that's why it's so important that you're an active participant in that process, you know, the diagnosis. So I'm sure when you were told you have MSA, you guys were probably, what is that? Right? Not a lot of people know about MSA, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So how did you guys, when you learned about what MSA was and about this journey, you know, what kept you and what keeps you positive?
Well, it's kind of depressing to hear that, you know, there's no known cure and all, and that's really a downer. But I would say a couple of things. One is we continued with the ataxia support group, and we also joined the MSA support group. So both of those allowed us to meet people at different stages of MSA and to get good lectures and seminars from people like you, Victoria, and others, where we learn more and we could see how there were methods for coping, you know.
Mhm.
So that was one thing. We also went to the, for several years, we went to the Abilities Expo, which has hundreds and hundreds of vendors of all kinds of equipment, automobiles, eating tools, which helped us see that there are methods for coping depending on your condition. And we also saw many people with a lot worse conditions, different disabilities. So, you know we have a bad situation, but it could be a lot worse. So that helps us too, you know. But I'd say probably the most important is a good family structure that we have. We have 3 loving daughters who always help. And we also have some friends who say, you know, if you need us, give us a call. So, you know, we have found, and, you know, we'll talk a little bit about during the pandemic, what happened with our kids and all, but I would say we would encourage people to make use of your family if you have a good family, or reach out to your friends and even your church groups or your community groups where people are willing to help, and that makes a big difference. Would you
That's
agree with
wonderful.
that? Anything else?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So what I hear you say, Frank, is exposure. Go out there, meet other people with an MSA diagnosis, join organizations such as MSA New Jersey. There are other groups that you were involved with, like with the ataxia groups, that's where you were initially diagnosed with, that can still contribute because it's a symptom that is related to MSA. So you can still get information that can be useful, but connecting with those people, gathering your resources, the existing resources you have, such as your family, friends, church community, anyone in the community that can be a resource, an existing resource for you. Just go to them, open up, get involved. And I also heard you say the part of the adaptation, yes, there are a lot of things that are changing, but you know, you went to the expo where you were able to learn, these are the things that we can do, that we can apply, so that Barbara can still do some of the things that she wants to do independently. So that identifying the problem and then trying to find a solution. And if there is none, because sometimes there isn't, then how are we going to cope with it? How are we going to adapt to it, right? So that's what I heard you say in the bench.
That's correct. Barbara can no longer do any cooking or holding dishes or pots and pans, but she showed me how to do things because I have her sit in the kitchen area and she tells me, get this, get that, you know, do it this way. So she's at least involved that way, even though she's not doing the cooking, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. And that keeps you positive, right, Barbara?
Yes, it does. That it keeps me involved a little bit. And that's very important. You feel like you're involved with something. It's very important. So that's good that I give him some workers that he can take. Also, with the cooking, my daughter does some raw cooking for us, which is very helpful. And then we have a lot of leftovers.
Leftovers for other meals that I can heat up and all, so that's good. Yeah.
Good. That brings us into our next question, Julia, right?
That is very related to what I wanted to ask next. I know you're very active prior to your diagnosis. What are some activities that you used to do that you liked and that you can still do now, but maybe with some modifications?
I really used to enjoy the dancing that we did. Now, I found out when I went to my nephew's son's wedding that I could dance in the wheelchair. and we did a little bit of wheelchair dancing, and it was fun.
Yeah, we had a conga line and Barbara was at the head and I was pushing her and everybody was behind us, and we snaked all around the dance hall.
That's
Oh
wonderful.
my goodness.
The other thing we do with dancing is we go about 3 mornings a week to do water therapy, because although Barbara can't walk, in the water she can walk and she can do exercises. So that helps stimulate her muscles and her bloodstream, which is good. But at the end of our exercises, we do a little Roomba together. She remembers some of the steps, and in the water, she can move her feet and do it.
Oh, I love that.
You sound like the life of the party, Barbara.
It's fun.
Yeah. And like what you said with that, you love reading. So instead you have like the eye patch so that you could continue to keep reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I think we get different kinds of books. We get the large print book. And so that's really good for Barbara too, I'd say.
Yeah, the large one is very helpful. But between the patch and the large ones, I could read one novel.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I enjoy it. I enjoy the reading.
Uh,
And also I do crossword puzzles, which I had never done before, but I do it with my daughter. One of my daughter reads the clues and I give her the answers and she writes it down.
Right.
So we do it together and it's a lot of fun.
Another, yeah.
Oh, yep.
Another thing that Barbara used to do is I'd write a monthly newsletter, and she used to be my reviewer and find spelling errors and other stuff. And she still can do it. You know, I give it to her once a month and she still reviews. So that's one of the things she continues to do.
Yeah. What about your gardening, Barbara?
I really cannot do any gardening anymore. I tried. I went out and I tried to prune my rose bushes. I fell in a bush.
Oh, oops.
Oh, yeah. But you know, you know why I'm asking you? Because I think I saw, and maybe we can bring up the pictures, Julia. We have some pictures of you. So I have proof that I saw you doing some gardening.
Yeah, I think she did with the window boxes, maybe.
There you go. Yeah. So these are some pictures that we're going to ask you to help us tell us a little more about them. But there is one, Julie, if you move along, there is one when I see you doing some gardening. If we move to the other side, there you go.
Hold on.
Oh, missed it.
There.
Yeah, there she is. Those are the window boxes we got. And the girl said, maybe Barbara could help us with that. And sure enough, seating up to the table, the window boxes were accessible. And
there you go. So I will call that gardening. I mean, it's not the typical way that you do gardening down, like, you know, kneeling down or whatever. But that's right. Am I right or no, Barb?
Yeah, not quite as satisfying. I'm gonna try next year. There's a little chair you can sit on. Just gardening, maybe that'll work.
Yeah.
Maybe no. But then this is a way that you can still enjoy some of the gardening, have your hands on the dirt, and you know that whole experience. You can still do it differently, but you're working on finding the joy in it as much as you did with the traditional gardening.
And the window boxes look so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. Yeah. And then we also see you cooking. Tell us about that picture.
Oh, yeah.
Was helping make cookies.
Was that cookies?
Yeah.
Oh.
Helping you make cookies. I could do the best that I could do. Like I could put the dough together. I could sprinkle the coconut on top. So whatever I'm able to do, I could do it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And I also see you still help grocery shop.
Grocery shopping. Believe it or not, You know, I used to enjoy grocery shopping.
One of the few people who used to enjoy it.
Actually, I enjoy grocery shopping,
Ah.
Barbara. It's like a little therapy for me.
Yeah. So,
But I see you can still do it. Yes.
were you in a
Look at that.
wheelchair?
Yeah, I was in the wheelchair.
She was in a
I had
wheelchair,
a basket on my lap,
right? And
and my baby something that we need to buy. But in the basket.
were you with April or
I
Alan?
was with April.
With
I
April.
got
April
it.
said that she stopped shopping when the cart got full, and that was it.
Exactly. That looks pretty full to me. And that's pretty heavy too, Barbara.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Was it?
What other are there any other pictures there, Julia, with activities maybe? Well, you guys have so many. Maybe we can just go over the pictures.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
This is my walk by the Anti-Care Foundation.
Okay.
We do a walk every year. Enjoy the city. Enjoy the Liberty State Park. The very pretty park. And I made everybody in my team made t-shirts everywhere.
I
Says
love it.
Papa's Brigade.
Right. So these pictures taken 2 years ago before COVID. And then 2 weeks ago, we went on another walk similar to this, Jersey City. It's got a broad boulevard that goes on for miles overlooking the New York skyline. So Jersey City State Park is a very nice venue. And everybody who has a taxi who comes has their own family and friends and their teams. And we all walk there and raise money for research.
Oh, that's wonderful. That sounds great. And that's all of your team, Barbara, like a lot of your family members,
Those are the direct family members, right?
direct family members that are
We
there
have-
with you.
What?
What month of the year is this?
August, the end of August.
End of August. It could be warm,
That's
it could be rainy, depends. But our 3 daughters are right behind Barbara. And then our grandkids to the upper left are there, William and Caroline.
Beautiful family, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go for walks with the family. You still do fundraising for different organizations.
Yes.
What else is there, Julia? You guys, look at
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Are you in New York City?
Yeah, that was our 50th anniversary 3 years ago. And so we did a overnight stay at the Hilton, and Barbara had her scooter with us. So she was able to go down. We went out to a show and all, a dinner, using her scooter, all dressed up, and we had a good
I
time.
see.
Yeah.
You look beautiful, Barbara. So you guys go out to the city, you have romantic dinners.
Right.
That's great. You walk down the streets of New York City, you know, you have your scooter there to support you, to help you. That's great. That's
Yeah, the
great. So
scooter-
that still falls into those things that you can continue to do and that you enjoy.
The scooter is one that we discovered at the Abilities Expo, which is a 3-wheeler, but a well-balanced 3-wheeler that folds up into a piece of luggage that you can roll away and put in your car or on the plane. And we have used that in our travels for many years. It was designed by a quadriplegic engineer in Israel who wanted to travel. And so it's very nicely done. It really folds up so nicely.
Yeah, it looks very comfortable, Barbara, is it?
Yes, it is very comfortable.
Yeah, it sounds
Wonderful.
convenient for traveling.
Yeah,
Great invention.
right.
What else is there, Julia?
Let's see.
South Africa, you gotta tell us about how did you make this happen?
Our last family trip was to Africa because I wanted to see all the animals. And we went on the beach. We am on the beach village here. And we went through the forest.
Mhm.
Wow.
The jungles, yeah. We had found out that there are trips that are accessible for handicapped people. And my daughter's booked this particular trip. Although the flight is like 14 hours nonstop to get there, you know.
The group was called Access to Africa.
What's that?
The group.
The group Access to Africa.
Access to Africa.
Yeah, the accessibility group. And so when we got,
Her husband has a disability.
her husband is in a wheelchair, and so the wife is helping to carry on their tour group by making everything accessible.
That's a great resource.
Yeah, and they provide like these wheel beach chairs when you're there, regular beach wheelchairs. And when we went in the safari Jeep, Barbara was put up front so she could see everything in the seat. It was good. It's very good. And they have ramps when we go up for dinner at the cabins, you know. So that was right now.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, these shots were taken in Durban, South Africa, where they have a very beautiful beach. They also have a beautiful aquarium and museum. We spent a half a day there as well before we went on a Jeep up to the jungles.
Oh my God. So Barbara, did you see all the animals you wanted to see?
Oh, yeah, they did. I saw the elephants, the zebras. They had hippopotamus, rhinoceros,
Giraffes,
giraffe,
monkeys, yeah.
monkeys.
And then you see them all in their natural habitat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say again?
The monkeys were so cute. When we went to sleep at night, we were in little huts, and the monkeys would jump right on the roof.
Oh my goodness.
That's what an experience.
Yes.
What an experience. That's wonderful. All right, so we need to start working on wrapping up, Julie. I'm looking at our time. So, so as a family, I see you guys, what you got, you like, guys, do you like to travel together as a family?
And of course, now that we've had the Shore House for a number of years, they all like to come down here as well, go to the beach, play games. And so that's been good.
That's wonderful. Julia, any other questions for Rep?
Yeah, so how have you incorporated like fun into having your treatment during therapies?
Well, the one big thing we're doing for fun is the program started by Columbia Presbyterian, which is called Broadway for Ataxia. But anybody really with a disability can join. And if you get donations to help pay for some of the coursework, the lessons, Barbara and I have been doing this for several months now. We do 2 Zoom sessions every week. One Zoom session, and they're 1 hour each. One Zoom session is for acting, and the other Zoom session is for singing. And for acting, they give us different parts of shows that we tell them we like. Fiddler on the Roof, Cabaret, Wicked. So we've done various scenes, and Barbara and I do it together. So we interact, and then the person running the program is an actor or actress who also has some training in therapy. So they tell us about, think about something that happened in your life in a similar scene, and then bring that into the scene and so forth. So that's been a lot of fun. And then we also do singing, right, Barbara? We pick songs.
What we do sing, now what we do acting, and what we do singing.
And what about the singing? How is that?
We sing songs from the shows.
Duets and
Whatever
stuff.
show we're
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's a nice therapy because it's fun. You're doing Broadway shows.
And there's no pressure. Just like for me, with harmony is very difficult.
We were trying to learn harmony
So-
at one point.
So now Frank does the harmony and I do the melody.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So you know, in therapy world, you know, in the psychological world, that's what we call life participatory approaches. So it's therapeutic, right? But it's therapeutic in a way that you're participating in life. And there is no better way to, because you're living life, but at the same time, you're getting all the benefits that come with singing, that comes with acting. What are some of those benefits, Barbara and Frank, that you see in terms of how these activities that are like fun are actually therapeutic?
I have found that my speaking has been improved as I sing and act. I go slowly, and now I'm more understandable to people.
Wonderful. Exactly.
And it's something that we can do together, which is always, because we did so many things together. So this is good.
Exactly. Wonderful. Thank you for that.
And it's also on Zoom, so it's pandemic friendly.
Yeah.
Accessible.
Now go ahead, Frank.
They made an offer saying, you know, at some point they want to do it in person, but we explained to them to go into New York is a big production for us, you know, in the car with the wheelchair and then the tolls and finding parking, and then just to do an hour session and to come all the way back. So in this case, Zoom is actually superior to being in person for us, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that brings me to the next question, which was, how has the pandemic impacted your lifestyle? And what type of things have you been doing since the pandemic to stay busy? You kind of just answered the question by letting us know how you have adapted to using Zoom.
Right. Actually, a Zoom is one thing, but because of the pandemic and our daughters knowing Barbara's condition, staying at home, they decided, the one living in Massachusetts and the one living in Georgia, decided to move back home. So they got an apartment about 5 minutes away from us. And they developed a schedule during COVID to come in and help me and help Barbara. And our third daughter, April, who lives around the corner from us, and she's an excellent chef, a great cook. She decided to make several meals a week for us. So during the pandemic, we had family meals several days a week with all the family. And so it really, you know, people tell us how bad it was, but for us, it was a silver lining, you know? And it's so good that they have that love that they came back and helped. And they still have a schedule of coming over the house several days a week, playing games with Barbara and so forth, and helping her wash. So it really is a way of coping with the pandemic. And then, of course, doing Zoom with friends and family also.
That's great. So it sounds to me like you really, you know, I'm glad that you found that silver lining, you know, that you were able to see it and embrace it. So kudos to you and your family. It sounds like you guys have done great through these difficult times.
Yeah.
So my last question to you, our last question to you, so that we can begin to wrap up is, and you know, I know this is kind of difficult because I want you to please tell us what message can you give to others living with MSA in order to, that will help them cope, that will help them stay positive. What is the one thing that you will tell everybody else, people with MSA and their families, to help them stay positive and cope?
I would tell them to keep as active as they can and always try to do things, even if they know it's going to be hard. You got to keep trying.
and try to also find new ways of doing things, substitutes. If you can't do some things, see what else you can do, and try those. And also, never stop learning. Stay in tune with the MSA Foundation, Taxia, other groups that are doing research, and join support groups. If you're not in a support group, join a support group. So I'd say those are several things, that would be very helpful to people.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today. We have learned so much from the both of you. You are certainly an inspiration in many, many ways. So I know that this segment is going to be very helpful to everyone who's going to be joining this conference. So thank you, Frank. Thank you, Barbara, especially you for taking the time to sit down and talk to us about your journey. You are certainly someone that we're inspired by, and we look forward to continue to see you in these events and continue to know how you are doing in this journey. So thank you again. Thank you, Julia, for co-facilitating with me today. And I just want to remind everybody that what Barbara and Frank shared with us today is very specific to their family. It's important for you guys to find what works for each of you. So this is not a way of advice or telling you, what to do. This is a very personal experience. So find what works for each of you out there. If you're planning to engage in any programs, exercise programs, travels, things like that, always talk to your medical team, your professionals, your providers, who can make sure that you're going to stay safe if you're embarking in any of these activities. So please talk about it with your team and do what's best for each of you. And I also want to remind you that, follow Barbara's and Frank's advice. That I would say is a good advice to follow. Get connected, stay connected with MSA New Jersey. There are wonderful conferences like this one, a lot of supports. The support groups are going on right now. They're virtual, as Frank pointed out. Sometimes it works better because you can do it from the comfort of your home, and you can still engage and connect with people and learn about a lot of resources and things that are available to you. So go to msanewjersey.com, and there is a form there that you can complete with interest on joining the support group, and then you will get the information so that you can join us next time. So thank you again. Any last remarks?
Thank you very much. Keep up the great work, and everybody stay active, stay active.
Thank you. You most definitely provided insight, even to me, of just living life to the fullest, which I'll definitely be doing and keeping that in mind.
Great. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Live well with MSA. Thank you, Barb. Bye, Frank. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you to the Tinari family. And now some final thoughts from other members of the MSA New Jersey community. Some thoughts from the Byron family. Some pictures from the Byron family. And some traveling pictures from Jack and Carol Harrigan. And Michelle, Ruth, and Soren's day at the game. And from the Romer family. And Eileen Tabano's helpless for stress. And some thoughts from Barbara.
My husband Tom was diagnosed with MSA in 2008. When you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, you have to make a decision going forward. Are you going to be living or are you going to be dying? Tom made a decision very early that he would be living, and he lived every day until he died in 2018.
Thank you to the Zimmerman family for sharing your wise words. And some other thoughts and messages from the MSA New Jersey community. And from Victoria Pina Cardinale, MSA New Jersey board member. And some recommended readings. Feel free to screenshot this or take a picture. And everyone is welcome to join the upcoming support group meeting on Saturday, October 16th at 11 a.m. If you're interested, please fill out the support interest form on msanewjersey.org. And thank you for coming and watching.